Um, I was going to get ready and do a nice little video, but I didn't. So, anyway, I always feel bad. I'm like, I can't really do much other than what I'm doing. I don't have the energy to sit on live like some of these TikTokers do all day long and do questions. So I feel bad for not doing more work stuff. But I've been in survival, literal running for my life mode for a while. So it's kind of hard to, you know, be structured right now. But I was thinking about it and I'm like, actually, I don't feel bad at all. This is my job. Calling these people out is my job. That's what I'm doing for work now. So, yeah, so calling the attention to all of these things and telling people what is going to happen, you know what I mean? And whether or not anybody listens or hears me is what I'm supposed to be doing. So that's what I'm doing. Anyway, I wanted to talk about my arm. And I know nobody's on here yet, but I know people will watch this on replay. And I wanted to get people's opinions on what possibly could have happened to my arm. So it's a weird story because it was at a time where I was being like heavily attacked. I had multiple hitmen trying to take me out at one time in this specific time frame that I was in. And in this scenario, I was dealing with a couple people. I was dealing with a guy named Kier who was a hitman. He didn't have the heart to strangle me like he was going to, and he let me live. But before that event happened, he was in the energy. He was around at that time. I wasn't dealing with him too much, but he was in my energy. I was also dealing with a very wealthy man who was the mayor of the community at one point, and also founded. I don't know how much the company's worth, but it's definitely. I think it's got to be in the billions. Let me look it up. And again, I didn't verify this stuff, guys. I don't know for sure, but this is who he was. He had a huge house. It wasn't like that great or anything. It was kind of like, needed to be updated, but, he had a huge house. He had all the money tokens: plane, pilot, house, boat, all the normal bigwig, you know, uh, things that would lead one to believe that he was wealthy. Let me just look here. And he started a company. I don't know if they're publicly traded now or not. Yeah, okay. In September, the valuation of the company, it says it was valued around $1 billion, including their debt. So he founded a $1 billion company. Again, it was sold. He didn't still own it, but he had a lot of money. So I have several players here that could possibly have done this particular thing, right? Or it could have been another person entirely. But from what I gather, at that same time, I had gone to do laundry one night, and I took an Uber because my car had already been repoed. And I was on the way back, and there was this Serbian Uber driver. He told me he was Serbian, and he was chatting with me really friendly on the way back. And when we got to the store, he was like, "Oh, it's so beautiful." Like, it was like probably like 10 o'clock at night. It wasn't super duper late, but it wasn't open either. And he was like, "Oh, can I please, I want to come see it to take some pictures for my wife." And I was like, "Yeah, that's fine." I mean, this was an old man, guys. I had no reason to think this guy had anything, that he was going to attack me in any way. And he was coming across as very, very nice. And again, it was my business. I didn't feel in danger. I mean, I didn't feel in danger because it was my store, it was my turf, it was my territory. So anyway, I let him in the store. I showed him around a little bit. The next thing I know, I wake up, I'm in the back of my store outside, like laying flat on my back. It's daytime, the sun is rising, the sun has risen, and there's two Largo police officers standing over me. And they're like, "Ma'am, do you want to go back in your store now?" And I was like, "Huh?" Like, obviously I had been, something happened. I don't know if I feel like this particular Serbian actually MK Ultra'd me, because I don't recall drinking anything in his presence or consuming anything. So I'm assuming whatever he did to knock me out was either, and I want to say like it could be a false memory, but I feel like he did wave his hand in front of my face. I feel like that happened. So anyway, whatever he did to knock me out was something unconventional, but I was coming out of that, whatever that was, and I was like, it didn't feel like in the jail when I think they fentanyled me to kill me. Um, but that was like more of like a coming out of like a twilight fog, you know, like I don't know how to explain it. This was like I was up, like I was on my feet. I was like, okay, so I went back in the store and I was fully dressed and everything, and I walked in my office, and that Uber driver was like laying on my cot in my office, you know, like having a snack, taking a nap, you know, and he was trying to like hang out, you know, with me, like like he was like my boyfriend or something. I'm like, what are you doing, you know? Like I didn't even know this guy. The last memory I had of him was he was an Uber driver that I was showing my store to, you know. So anyway, he left after a little bit, and he ended up coming back and like bringing gifts. And I think that this was the night that this happened to my arm. So again, I thought maybe the Russians got me, because I had, you know, I had a security clearance. You know, that's like public information on my LinkedIn. I thought, I didn't know, you know, I didn't know. It didn't automatically occur to me. It did. It did. Let me take this back. I knew the hitmen were MAGA, and it did occur to me that they could be working with the Russians. But there were so many people coming for me at that time. I'm talking multiple police departments, the city, the, you know, people. I was hanging out with people, but it was, there was always this air of like I was like an oddball. Like I was always the one that was like being whispered about. You know, I was always the one invited late to the get together. You know, so there was something going on, and I knew that I thought they were maybe feeling me out, especially with the politician, because you know he's got, you know, a reputation and assets to protect. I thought maybe he was just scoping me out for a little bit, you know, to see who I really was. But and I was fine with that. I don't care. You can stalk away. I really don't fucking care, because you're going to be stunned to find out that I am who I say I am. So anyway, yeah, but the arm thing. My initial thought was maybe a tracking device, because I knew that they were tracking my car before it was repoed, and I thought maybe they they wanted to be able to track my every movement, you know, possibly because when it first happened, there was like it felt like as if you take this straw like this and just cut this part off and insert that into your arm. That's what it felt like. It felt hard. It felt movable, you know. So I don't know if it was like an inserted object, like a tracking device, you know, but because it's now not, you can't feel it now. It's not there anymore. So either it dissolved or went into my muscle. I don't know. I don't know. So there's that. The other theory that I possibly thought about was maybe they were taking like bone marrow or something, but you can see like that, whatever they did, it's like if they did insert a needle, it was thick and probably hollow, you know. I mean, you can see where, if there's not a device in there, if there's not something in there that's like this, the needle was like this, you know, whatever they did. So maybe they took my blood, my bone marrow, because I think at this point, I don't know if I had already come back to life. Well, I had already come back to life with the face smashed in issue, but the jail thing, I don't know where this fell on the timeline. I have to look at the date of the picture to see if it was before the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office murdered me or after. But maybe they were trying to figure out how I came back to life, you know, how this was happening, how I wasn't dying, you know, so they wanted to take like blood or samples or something, you know, possibly. Or they wanted to inject who knows what, cyanide, a nuclear irradiation pill in my arm to kill me, because the attempts to physically murder me and poison me and everything else they were doing weren't working. So maybe they put like, who knows, they could have put a plutonium rod in my arm. Who would know, you know? But yeah, maybe it was another assassination attempt, you know, that failed. So anyway, I don't know if anybody here has any ideas of what could have possibly happened there, you know, but I'd love to know your thoughts, because it's driving me nuts. I mean, it's not driving me nuts, but it's my body, you know. I mean, they've done so much to my body. I have not had any, my body has been a free-for-all for them, you know, a free-for-all, literally, you know. So I just would like to know, you know, like what's going on with my arm. What did they do? Why did they do that? You know, what did they want? Why couldn't they ask me for what they wanted? You know, was it the Russians? You know, that's another huge concern. Are they planning to kidnap me and use me for ransom? You know, are they tracking me for that purpose? Do they think that I have some information that they want because of my clearance? You know, what's going on? You know what I mean? And I can't get, well, obviously the FBI hangs up on me, you know, so it's like, nobody cares. Like, national security doesn't matter either, you know. Maybe you don't know what they want, you know, if it's them. Because, you know, Pinellas County has had a huge influx, and I can only speak for Pinellas because that's where I live and see things, but a huge influx of Serbian people. Huge. The whole park, the whole playground was filled with people, Serbian people, and they were reading books with swastikas on the front at the playground. And I think when he talks about people from insane asylums and prisons, that's who he's talking about. I think he brought those people here. So Shannon, great question. Not that I'm aware of. I have not received medical attention. I haven't been able to since July of last year. I did go to the hospital in July just because I had pneumonia in January, and I just wasn't feeling very good. So I was supposed to go, you know, in February to make sure the pneumonia that I had went away, and I never did. So I went back in July and just got a chest x-ray, they did what they call like a rainbow panel on my blood. So they scanned for everything, you know, and the only health issue they could find in any way was I had a slightly, I mean, very slightly decreased calcium in my blood, but that is it. And then the calcium thing, funny story, I was looking at, somehow it came across my face, the CIA uses like sound waves to make you crazy or to impact your health, or, you know, they have different things they can do, and the side effect of these sound waves that they use is depleted calcium in your body. So I thought, okay, well, and again, there's no way to prove anything about the sound waves unless, you know, the CIA admits what they were doing, right, or gets caught. But it could be, you know, contributed to that. So I've just been eating more, you know, yogurt and cheese lately, that's all. But that is the only health issue that I have or had. I mean, and that's July, so, you know, there could be a different story now, 6 months later, but I think if you had a device in your arm, they may have already attacked or something worse. Yeah, if there was something in there to kill me, then they would have deployed it already, yes. A long time ago. And maybe they did, you know, maybe they did. So the bigger, I mean, I mean, it's all concerning, but, you know, I just don't want to be like a tagged trophy animal, you know, because that's what they do when they hunt. They put tags on the animals to track them. So that is what I think might have happened there. I don't know, but like a tracking tag for a trophy animal, you know. That's gonna be my guess, but again, it hurt like a bitch. Like, I mean, they're not gonna be careful with me. I'm a trash human. Why would they take any care not to injure me while they're doing these procedures? They wouldn't. And they actually took extra measures to harm me during procedures, in other medical procedures that I've had. So, you know, does your arm ever hurt? It did. It hasn't in a while. But yeah, it did for a long time. It really ached for a long time. It took a long time to heal. That bruise was like really deep. It was like they hit my bone, you know? And that's why I was thinking maybe marrow. Because again, with having the health that I have, whatever they did with my DNA, you know, maybe they're thinking that like a bone marrow transplant would have helped one of their people or something along those lines. You know, the CIA has the keys to the kingdom as it relates to medical technology as well. They've been allowed to do the most insane things possible. They think they have the cure to cancer because they cause it. Narcissism is what causes cancer. Either dealing with it for years and years and years, it makes you sick, or they get it. But that's what cancer is. They have the cure for that too. So they've done a lot of stuff, you know, that that is impactful and can help humanity. But this stuff is obviously horrific, you know. And if they wanted to test my DNA, if they wanted to use my body to see if they could advance medical technology or help people that are sick, that's fine. But they should have asked me, and we need to work out, you know, a deal. You know, like you can't just come in and MK Ultra me and take what you want from me every time you want something. You know, it's not fucking. I mean, it's fucked up. You know, there may not be anything in your arm. I think so, Shannon. I feel like that's probably what happened. It's either that or and well, on the way out, who knows? They probably took the bone marrow that they needed and then injected me with plutonium, you know? Truly. This is how these guys operate. So it's probably both. Oh, I know, Shannon. That's why they're being obliterated. That's why they're being eradicated on this earth, because they can't be here anymore. They don't know how to function in society on God's earth. So yeah, they're not allowed to be here anymore. But yeah, I know they're horrific beings. They're just leeches. They bring nothing to the earth. They only take. I know. But it's just aggravating because I haven't been able to find any other people. Like usually with my issues, I can go to the internet and find someone else, the gang stalking, for example, being a targeted individual, you know. And I never talked about being a TI because I've been a TI since I was a kid. I already knew that much, you know. The weirdos that followed me around every military base I was at, I knew the Masons were obsessed with me. I knew they were talking about me in their inner circles. So I had an idea, you know. I saw a lot of stuff too. These people think they just wiped my memory and that I don't remember anything. That is not true at all. Their shit did not work on me. You know, some of the stuff I'm sure was wiped. Thankfully, that's probably only by the grace of God. But I remember a lot, you know. So I played really nice and fair with them my whole life, you know, my whole life. Really nice and fair. They've gotten away with everything, you know. You know, again, they had to take my kid. You know, that's where this all fell apart. That's where it all fell apart. This is not. She's not going to be part of their experiments, you know, and she already is. But yeah, they just kept the ball rolling with Emmy, you know, and I figured maybe they thought they have Emmy now, so they have my DNA, so they don't need me anymore, or they have cloned me. Now what? It is such a miracle, Shannon. It's God. So, yeah, but what if, you know, I mean, again, I don't believe that they haven't made a clone. I don't. They're obsessed with my DNA. This has been known since I was young. Ever since Jurassic Park came out, when DNA became a topic of conversation. That's when I knew they were obsessed with my DNA. Because it was always talked about. Just in you know. Everything was always, you know, I walk in the room, it gets quiet. Yeah, these demons that they hired did not do a very good job protecting the secrets, you know. Because demons can't be trusted in any capacity, which is why it's dumb to hire them. Which is why I will never hire a demon ever again. But I don't know. Yeah, it'd be interesting to find out. Again, I'm wondering at this point, you know, do I have more assassination attempts than Fidel Castro? Because he was over 600. So we'll see. God's going to expose it all. So they just need to get ready for that, you know, because they did too much. The kids, too much. The kids, you know. So yeah, God's taking it down, which is great. I'm happy. I guess I am special, Shannon. Like I said, you know, they spent a lot of money. And that's what it boils down to with these demons every time. It doesn't matter. Nothing else matters. It's the money. Spent a lot of money on this, you know, just to have it extinguished and thrown in a dumpster, you know? Nah. There was something else going on there. There's something else going on. And again, I don't know if Hamish is the one to make that is he the all-powerful being? Is he powerful enough in the group to say, yeah, she's just trash, dispose of her. And I think Hamish was there the night that I was thrown in the dumpster. I don't know why. I have like in my old townhouse, I feel like they had me laying on like I don't know if it was a couch, but I was laying there, my eyes were closed and I could not open them. I was trying so hard to open my eyes, and they were going, Tina, Tina, and I feel like I heard Hamish's voice. Tina, Tina. They were like doing like this, Tina, Tina. And I feel like I heard Hamish's voice. I thought in my head, was that Hamish? Like the next day, But it was so wild, the whole experience, that I was in shock. I was in total shock after that one. They got me good that time, because then they got me in the courts, which is, the most vile thing, because I literally am you know what I mean? Like, I am a law-abiding person. Like, I've never been in any legal trouble in my life. So it's like, aside from, getting in trouble when I was 14 for helping my friend shoplift, but I've never done anything illegal like that. I've never done anything illegal again. You know what I mean? Not to, I hate to say that, because I probably sped, so you can't say you've never done anything illegal, but I don't break the law intentionally. I don't live my life in any way that would have me in jail on triple felony charges, drug charges as well. It's like, but they had to come up with something, plan B, because I didn't die. So that was like, oh shit, they scrambled to do anything that they could, and the only thing I had on me to charge me with was my little travel pill container, and I kept just a few of my prescriptions, my legal valid prescriptions, in that container. Yeah. Charged me for a narcotics felony for metoprolol, which is a heart medication, not a narcotic. But they all got dropped anyway. It's just the audacity. It's the audacity of these people to attempt to ruin my reputation and my credibility in the ways that they have done. And I'm talking drugging me, raping me, taking videos of it, and then trying to use that to say that I'm a prostitute. This is the low levels these people stoop to, and it's the CIA. This is why it's so flabbergasting. We know the CIA. Everybody knows the stories of the men in black and la. I wish it was that simple. I wish it was the men in black, then it would be like easily identifiable. No, the CIA is sneaky. They use people. They'll pay your family members, to torture you, to abuse you, to harm you, to kill you. They'll promise them anything they want. The Illuminati, anything you want, your dream life, and everybody took it. Everybody took the deal. But I don't think it was a good deal. I don't think it was a good deal at all. I don't think God thinks it was a good deal, I don't think they should have done that. So yeah, anyway, it's going to be worked out. Like, I don't know what's going to happen, right? I don't know how it's going to pan out, but God has it handled. It's already handled. These people are going down. Mackenzie is going to be shut down. The CIA will also be shut down. It's going to happen. This is the prophecy. It's too late. These guys had ample opportunity to settle this quietly, right? But God said no, because we have to take down the trafficking ring. And the great news is that Walt Disney is going to be full frontal featured on that, right? This whole story is going to be bringing him not only back to life, but also restoring his good name, living out his wishes, which was to change humanity for the better. That's all he cared about. He was hyper focused on that when they murdered him. He was building Epcot. He had this idea, that was brilliant. And he was going to build this community, and make sure everybody was safe and happy. Epcot, and they laid out. Okay, I'm back. They're cutting me off. But anyway, going back to what I was saying. I'm sorry, Shannon. I hadn't read your comments until the connection dropped, and then I'm going to respond to this too. I didn't know that you were also a victim. Shannon, the way I look at that, right, is these rapists, okay, that's what they want. I don't give these rapists anything that they want. I don't allow them to ruin my sex life, right? If I look at rape the same way I look at being beat up. To me, it has nothing to do with me with sex, right? Like if I want to consensually, if I personally want to have sex with someone, that is a totally different story than someone coming in and physically assaulting me in a way that I correlate to a physical assault, as in like getting beat up. I don't see a rape as sex in the way that like I would want to have sex with somebody that I want to have sex with, right? So I don't let them take any of my life away. They've tried it all. And this is what they're doing to you as well. They want to take away your enjoyment of intimacy, your sex life. They want to make you look a victim. No, take your power back, girl. Take your power back. Don't let these motherfuckers, because they accosted you. Again, look at it. It's like getting beat up. You wanting to have sex with someone consensually. Your sex life has nothing to do with these demons. It has nothing to do with their theft. You're not a victim of trafficking. The pedo ring has just taken away the enjoy. How? What does that mean? I'm sorry, I'm confused. I thought you were in the pedo ring. Like me. The hurt children impact you. Yeah, that is a different story. I know. This is the demons' impact on humanity. It's their lust, their greed. It's the greed. It's like they're lustful, right? And then let's look back. Let's say when Trump was in his lustful era. Okay, I was watching these old videos of him and Epstein partying it up. Okay, all over Florida, all over New York, all over everywhere. Okay, and Trump was a ladies' man. He had a nice chunk of time where he was a single eligible bachelor. Okay, and he was, it was featured on like what was that show like what is it like the 7 p.m. news, entertainment news short. I don't know what it is. Anyway, it was featured on the news that he was partying up with Epstein before anything came out about Epstein, when Epstein was still cool. And they showed the types of parties that they were throwing, and it was rooms full of blonde women, skinny blonde women, right? Like 90s skinny blonde women, dancing, drinking, having a party. And it's him and Epstein like standing in the corner going like, like picking out which ones they're going to take home that night. And that, again, it seemed like these women were having a good time. They didn't seem like they were there under duress, it seemed like, even though that is a very piggish thing to do, host a party full of hot blondes so that you have an abundance, a whole room full to select whichever ones you want. Sorry guys, Nuggies is here. That's awful, right? It's horrible. It's piggish, right? But their women were there consensually, okay? And there weren't any kids, involved, if that makes sense, like let's be that kind of pig again. I can deal with that, right? I can deal with that kind of chauvinist, energy. I cannot deal. Hold on. Come on, baby girl. It's okay. Nobody's in here. Hi, come here. Hi, you wanna come in? Oh, baby. I know you're fine. All right, baby girl. You're safe. Don't worry. Don't worry. Are you ready? Here, we'll come over here, okay? You came in for YouTube. She always comes back when I'm live, even when she's outside. Okay. So anyway, that is greedy. That is lustful. Again, having a room full of hot women, blonde women, it's piggish, right? But it's consensual. Nobody, I don't know, guys. I don't know what happened at these parties, But what I can say is that, the greed really stepped in with the kids. It wasn't enough to have their little secret pedo rings where, some kids were being trafficked and hurt, but it was very secret and underground. And, and again, this does not make it right in any capacity, but they had to hide it because we wouldn't accept it. We wouldn't accept it as a society, We would never have accepted even one kid missing We would go ape shit as a country with one kid missing, you know? Look how many kids are missing now. Thousands, 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 you know? It's a dire emergency. And, you know, they can just openly do this in public now. This is the lust, this is the greed I'm talking about. This is why God is taking these demons out. This is why they are dying. It is because they got so ahead of themselves, you know, with these kids. They just took the liberty. And the kids, again, guys, the most vulnerable, innocent members of our population that absolutely, they're required to have adult guidance in life and care, right? They cannot survive, you know, human beings, you know what I mean? Babies, okay? And what are we doing to them? We're funneling them into trafficking rings for what? So that they can be raped and eaten, and people drinking their blood and keeping them in cages and doing experiments on them, you know? And we're just doing this. We're just doing this, you know? That's what's happening, man. You know? And that's what they're doing. And it's everybody. It ain't Republicans and it ain't Democrats, guys. It's demons. It's demons. And that's how they need to be labeled. They lack empathy. Human beings, the requirement to be a human is empathy. They're lacking it. You cannot do this to children. Look what they're doing. Look what they're doing. And they have no conscience about it. These people literally deal with this stuff as though it is like any other business dealing, as though they're buying and selling, you know, steel, like it's a commodity. These are babies. These are children, innocent children. Think about these babies. I want you to think for a minute about your average 3-year-old who coming across the border is thinking, because their parents have been told that there's work here and that they're going to have a good life and that they're going to escape the mafia in Guatemala, okay? And that they're going to be able to live and eat and not have to run for their lives every day in the United States, because that's what we do here, right? Think about it. Think about the average 3-year-old that sold the American dream, walking, you know, thousands of miles across countries to be here. And then they get here and they see the American police officers and think, awesome, they're going to protect me. They're going to help me. And what do? These people are going to die. They are going to die. And I mean that. It's not a joke. It's not a threat. It is a prophecy. Everybody that's had their hands in this is gonna die. Soon. But not before they're exposed. All of them. Because what they do is not even demonic. I think Lucifer himself is sickened. Who do these people think they are? Anyway, I'm gonna come off this live, okay? I'm gonna take a little break and I need to take a shower and do my stuff, and I'll be back on today. I'll be doing more lives. So yeah, I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good rest of your day, folks. Talk to you later.